Hi guys, thank you so much for sticking with me for a whole month. You guys are super amazing. Okay, so today I'm just going to share like the experiences I've had that made me feel really terrible, the ones I've had that made me feel happy. So I think the first one I can really remember was when I was in senior secondary school. My menstrual cycle started. I was asleep and then I woke up and then I felt like wet and then I walked to the restroom and then was like, oh my god, what is this? I was so scared. I was like, oh my god. So everyone in class probably saw me walk out, stained. I was like, oh Jesus, what do I do? So I just so I stayed that way till after class because it was towards like closing time and all that. So I had to use my school bag, like drop it all the way to the back, like to cover my back. Like even in the bus on my way home, I couldn't sit on the chair because I didn't want to stay in the chair. And then I got home. I didn't even know how to use a pad. Thank goodness for Mary. My younger sister was like, oh, she sees my older sister wearing it this way. I felt so embarrassed and so uncomfortable. But the good thing about my school then, I don't even know if anyone said, but no one, I don't know, no one said anything. So I was fine. It didn't affect me psychologically, but it was like scary for me. Like I don't know, maybe I wasn't just prepared or something. I was just scared. But after that day, I was fine. So I would say that was like my first worst experience. And then the second one happened when I was in senior secondary school in my third year. I was writing WAEC or was in NECO, I can't even remember. And then they called me out for school fees. That I can't continue my papers because I've not paid. Oh god, I'm laughing now. I cried that day. I went to the bathroom, I called my dad. I was so pissed at him. I said a lot of awful things to him. I said I disown him. It's his fault. I didn't I was impatient with him and he forgave me about all this, but that was a very, very sad and awful day for me. I was like, oh my god, why is this happening to us? Why is this happening to me? I was very upset. I was sad. But thank goodness I still wrote GC in 2016 and that's what I'm using right now. This that I'm talking about was in 2012, but I still did well, but all my papers were not good enough, so I decided to dump those results and all. And then, okay, before I go any further, I really want to say, um, apologize to like my loved ones. I'm not trying to like throw anyone under the bus or anything. I'm just being honest about my worst and best memories, like things that happened to me and how they made me feel. So, and we're being honest here, just for people to also know that some of us have gone through these things, some of us are going through these things, and they will come out fine. I know my experiences may not be as depressing as yours. It may not be as exciting as yours is or was, but this is just to let you know that as long as you never give up, you would turn out fine. I'm still in my process. I'm keeping the faith. I'm trusting. And I will tell you, it's been amazing. There's been really down times, but the happy times are also amazing too. Okay, so forward on to relationships. Oh my goodness. There was this relationship I went into. So we went out one day. His friends were driving his car. I was in the back with him, and then I leaned on him like the way you like put your head on someone's thighs, like just to rest on them. Before I knew it, this guy was trying to put his hands in my bra, my pants. I just stood up. I was like, "What's going on?" I didn't want to be over dramatic, but they would drive me to where I don't know. I've not known this guy for up to 2 months. I think it was barely like 2 months, like that, something like that. And then he started kissing me, and the kissing was like biting my face. I was so scared. I was like, oh my goodness, how did I get into this? This is ridiculous. This is not normal. But I kept my cool. I was just like, I just need to keep my cool so I get to my bus stop. I tried to keep everything under control. When I got to the bus stop, I was supposed to alight. I just came down and I said bye, like a normal, like nothing happened. As I got home like this, I just called. I said, like, what was the meaning of all that? Like, me, I'm done. See, me and relationship, I used to easily say I'm done. You, edit what like this, I used to jackpot. It's not good. I'm not saying it's good to jackpot, but I'm sorry. So I was like, I'm done, and this, and then it was like, oh, am I being naive? This and that. He's a choir master. He's a pastor. He's this. I'm like, what does that have to do? It was now claiming like, am I saying he's a bad person by wanting those stuff? I'm like, I don't want. No is no. Simple. No is no. So this guy is. I'm not. God, please forgive me. I'm not judging, but I really felt like this guy, if he had a place of his own, because he recently got a place, but he had not done anything. He was still living with his parents, so I never went home to visit him. We only went to places to like eat and all. So I was like, so this guy, if I go to visit him, is the kind of person that can lock me up and rape me against my will. I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm the kind of person, if you do that kind of thing to me, see, I'll pretend as if everything is okay. But the next day I'll come back to visit you. Just know that your food will be poisoned. I'm just saying it now. Your food will be poisoned. And that prick that you use there, I'll cut it off. Like, cut it off. And let you bleed the same way you made me bleed. But that kind of thing would have landed me in prison. So I'm grateful that I didn't get to that point. I left. I fled on time. And it was all dramatic and all. I didn't even care. It was very traumatic for me for a few days, a few months, weeks. It went into weeks and months. But somehow, thankfully, I came off it because I was like, how did I even get? Why was it even biting my face? I don't know. It was just the whole thing for me. I was like, I spoke with my friends, and I spoke with Damia. Then they called. I was like, sis, I don't know how I entered this kind of thing. No, I don't. It was so like it was terrible. I'm laughing about it now, but it traumatized me a lot. But I'm thankful I'm out of it. But that was an experience that no one should have to experience. Really, it was really bad. And then recently, Papi, um, not recently. I'm sorry. Like about 1 year into my relationship with Papi, he played a prank. Oh my god. It was like, oh, it was a bet between he and his friends to like get me to fall in love, to date him and all. And this is my first serious relationship ever. I was like, what? What? Why would you do that? I was like, so I'm just a bet. I'm like, hey, how did this happen to me? Me that I'm never serious. Like, I don't even stand relationships at all. I'm like, I'm okay by myself. I like my space and all that, but I'm no longer that person. Papi has taught me a lot, and we're really fantastic together right now. So, but that was very, very, very. It was too much for me. I broke down. I cried. I was bawling at him. I was so upset. He went into shock because he wasn't expecting something like that. He was in shock for a very long time because of how I broke down. And I was like, he would try his best to never make me cry again. When I cry, no more. I can go to a very, very bad place. So I don't like crying. Like, I don't like showing my emotions. And then there was this job I had, like the first job I had after the dental nursing school. And there was this day, like, I was just fed up with everything. I was literally depressed. This was the first time I knew what depression was. I went to her office that day, like my boss's office. I don't even know what she talked to me about, but it was like, I don't know. I came out and then I was crying. Like, I just went to the bathroom. Everyone else was downstairs. I went to the bathroom. I sat on the closet and I was crying. I couldn't stop crying for over 30 minutes. I was like, why am I still here? Why am I still working in this facility? It was a great facility. I learned a lot. Like, she teaches you to be the best. Like, she's amazing when it comes to teaching, but she also plays with your mind. So I was like a mess. I was depressed. I started everyone would sleep at night, I would, because we're also living at the back of the office, I would walk around the compound because I couldn't sleep. I was so sad. I was depressed. I was upset. I was just beside myself. I don't know. So shout out to Uncle Sammy Ogutade and his family. Thank you so, so much for letting me always come around and just talk my mind out, just seek help. Like, they were there for me and they really supported me. And they were like, you know what, maybe you should leave this job. And then I was in the service and God dropped an instruction, step out. And I just knew that this was the scenario he was talking to me about. And then I called my dad. I was like, this is not working anymore. And he knew I had been complaining and all. He's like, okay, you know what? You can leave the job. You can go home. I'll try my best to give you money monthly till you find something. Alma, I don't even think I'm twice. I wrote my resignation letter. I was really good. She loved me. She was like, you do so much. Like, on this job, I got the highest tip ever that I've ever received. She wanted me working as the front office. She will still be calling me back to come assist her when she's working with patients. She was like, get me Olamide. She needs to help me out here. There was this patient I assisted for over 5 hours. They were doing some treatments for him. And as soon as she was done, she signaled me to go prepare the bill. I went back to the front, did everything. The man came out and was like, well, you know the one that was assisting us for over 5 hours? I was like, yes, I was just smiling. The man was like, eh? It was so in shock. Like, how did you do that? He just counted 10K and gave it to me. I was like, oh shit, oh, best tip ever. But that wasn't, I was already in a bad place and all. And I'm glad I really left. I took some time away to myself. I went back home, stayed with my mom. And it was just, at some point, I was now so like, I need to do something. I'm kind of a workaholic in a way, but I don't know if it's, sometimes I think it's bad, sometimes I think it's good. But the truth is, I don't have any handwork. Like, I don't have any, so work is what I do basically, and studies, that's what I do. So, and then, another time was last year when I was learning to drive. I'd never driven before. So I was paying hourly to learn to drive. Whenever my dad had the chance also, he drove with me in the car. And almost had an attack like 2 times. Oh my goodness. It was like, Jesus, this guy will not kill me. Pack the car. Oh yeah. Go off, go off. I was scared. Oh my goodness. So I was paying to learn, and then you have to do, like, they would just give you driver's license. They would test you before they give you your driver's license. My first test, I didn't even make it out of the parking lot. That one, I knew I wasn't ready, so I wasn't too upset. But the second one, my God, I cried the whole day, like literally all day, and I had to go to work. Everyone was like, are you okay? Are you okay? I'm like, at some point, I just started crying again. Then I'm like, okay, let's go to the back. Shout out to Janie. Shout out to Trey. My bosses, they're like my American siblings. They took care of me like every step. Like, they're always there. When something is wrong, they know. Even before I say anything, and they're like, try to talk about it, and they just always kind of make me feel better. They find solutions for me. They give me help every single time I need help. You guys, I love you guys so much. I know you know already. So the second one, I made it out of the parking lot, but then on the road test, she was like, I'm going, at first she said I'm going too slow. I picked up the pace. Then we were on the highway. Then she said, oh, I went higher than I should have, that I would kill myself if they leave me to drive alone. Jesus, I cried. Because my dad was already fed up with the process of taking me to work and all that. I was stressing my boss also, Trey, because most times he had to come pick me up and all. So I was like, I really need this to work out. I just didn't know what to do. I just packed after this training and I was crying. My trainer, Mr. Bill. Very old, nice man. I think he's about 90 years old, thereabout. Very nice. It was like, he gave me a hug that day. He told me, he even gave me back some of the money I paid him that day. It was like, because I know you've paid for this test twice now and all that. I was like, don't worry, you'll get it right. Then I got to work when I was crying and all. And Trey was like, maybe you should try a different place. I was like, yeah, maybe. So I looked online for a different driving school. And then I think like 3 weeks later, I took another one. And it was perfect. That was another exciting day for me. I was so happy. I was like, oh my God, I made it, I made it, I made it, I made it, I made it. I was so happy. My dad was so proud. He was like, oh, I'll take you out to eat. But we never did. I was so happy. I was like, oh my goodness, that's great. And I skipped some parts that I'm just remembering now. So sometime 3 years ago, when we found out my older sister was pregnant out of wedlock, it was like I cried. I cried so much. This is like the second time in my lifetime that I had cried so much before last year. I was like, oh my God, this cannot be happening to us. I literally prayed that God should take out the pregnancy. I never told my sister this, and this is one of the reasons why I apologized from the beginning. Like, but I'm being honest. I was like, I was angry. I was bawling. I was like, God, take this baby out. This cannot happen now. It's gonna. Um, I was in pains. I was crying. I saw her crying, and my whole life just. I think my whole life just tore into pieces. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say to her. I didn't know how to help her. I was just like, God, take this baby out. And then when Oluwashindara was born, Jesus, that was another most happiest day in my life. I could not sleep. And for days, I was so excited. I was like, oh God, I need to go home and see her. I need to go home and see her. I was living with the Odumazes then. I was like, I need to go home and see her. I need to go home. Like, I was so happy. Like, she's the best wonder ever. Like, every time I see her now, no matter how sad I am, once she smiles, oh my God, I just, all the pain, all the hurt I'm feeling just goes away. She can be naughty sometimes, children are that way, but everything just goes away and I feel so relieved. How? I don't know. All I know is she's really and truly a wonder from God, and I'm grateful every day that we have her. And I'm sorry that I prayed that she'd be taken out, but I was in a very bad place, sincerely. Another thing happened last year, like when I took ill. The day before I took ill, I was already feeling sick, and then I did laundry, and my dad said some things to me. I was like, "Is this how to fold?" I was folding his clothes, and he said something. So I was like, "How did I fold his clothes? That should be." He just showed me how to fold it and all. I was like, "Is it that I have mental issues?" He just said a lot of things, and then when I was done, I just went in the room. Papi, I called Papi. I was like, I just started crying. I couldn't even tell him what it was. I was just telling him, just calm down, talk to me, calm down, talk to me. Like, I don't even know. I cried for hours. I think I fell asleep. He was still on the phone. There was nothing he could do. I was just crying because I was like, I'm really doing my best. I'm working, I'm schooling, I'm cooking on my off days, I'm doing laundry on my off days. It's just a typical African parent. I love my dad so much. He's like the best supportive person, but it's just a typical African parent, technically. I was just down. And then the next day I drove to work and it took the car back home. But as soon as I entered the office, I was like, I don't feel good. I went into the back. I didn't even turn on the lights. I just texted him. I was like, I need to go back home. But I think he was already working, so he didn't see the messages. My boss came and he was like, "You didn't turn on the lights." I'm like, "I don't think I can make it through the day." I was like, "Okay." When someone else comes in, it will take me to the hospital. That have I messaged my dad? I was like, "Yes," but I don't think he got the message or something. Apparently, my dad was in a meeting, so he didn't get the messages. So my boss took me to the hospital. He sat with me to fill the form because he knew I was new and I didn't know anything. And before I knew it, in less than 3 hours, I was, I couldn't breathe. I was struggling. I was like, life is going out of me. Like I was just, this is just that, that you should try to cry less. Like crying destroys you in a way. Like, although I was feeling sick before then, but if that had not happened the night before, trust me, I wouldn't have been at that point. The next day, after they rushed me to accident and emergency, I couldn't talk. I was having slurry speeches. My dad was crying. I was scared. I was also crying. Parent, my mom and my siblings back home did not know. We couldn't tell them yet. But few days after, when I felt better and I could start talking again, they did everything. They did tests. They did therapies. Nothing worked. Like, I guess my emotions was just, I don't know what the description was. Also, one last thing I remember that really happened. I'm sorry, guys. I'm feeling a bit emotional right now, but I'm glad I made it, and I really felt I was going to die. I'm glad I didn't give up, and I'm glad for everyone that was there for me. Thank you guys so much. I know you guys are watching. You guys have always been there for me, like all my life. Thank you so much. And then there was this time in like nursing school when my immune system was compromised. They did all the tests. They didn't know what was wrong. I was in accident and emergency for a few days. Shout out to my friends for taking turns bringing me food. My girls, the 5 of you, we are all 5. The 4 of you are amazing. I really appreciate Peace, including Peace. Thank you so much. Like, they took turns, they slept over, they brought me food because mommy couldn't stay because of her health too. And at the end of it, there was nothing. My immune system was just compromised. So I do struggle with some health issues. I'm battling hemorrhoids right now. Sometimes when I go to pee, not even sometimes, like all the time now, when I go to pee, I have to push it back in. Like, it's very uncomfortable. It's excruciating sometimes. Sometimes I can't sleep. And there's really no solution than to cut off like those veins. But I don't know. This is just to let you know that you would always be fine. Guys, you would always be fine. Never give up. Trust and keep the faith in. Surround yourself with great people, with loving people, with nice people. There will be some bad people that you need to help, definitely. But love, like, just open up yourself and be there for everyone. That's just what this is about. I love you guys so much. Thank you. I know this was very long. I never want my videos this long. I feel like this would be the longest video ever, but I'm talking about experiences, like a lot. So I apologize for taking your time. I love you. Bye.